Okay. So, can you tell me how long ago you started and how you got to the Journal?
Gosh, I came to the Journal in 1974, fresh out of school at Wake Forest, and I had done a little bit of stringing for the Journal in sports while I worked in the sports information office over at Wake. And then when I would go home to Raleigh during the summers, I would do some stringing for the Journal, so the people here knew me. And Terry Oberly, the sports editor, called me not long after I graduated, and pretty much offered me a job just right out of the blue. I was working back at the Raleigh Times part-time at the time, and Terry offered me the job. I was here just for 2 years as a sports writer, and then gone for a number of years, including 8 in athletic administration at Appalachian State University, so I kind of stayed in the same field, and then I've been back for 21, so 23 years at the Journal altogether.
What did you like about, did you take copy editing because it was an open job, and did you come to like that part of journalism?
My background really had always been as a writer, so I really enjoyed producing my own words. But in answer to your question, yes, when I came back, what was available was a copy editor on the sports copy desk. And I found that at the time that I was here before, I was single. And since then, I had been married and had 3 children. And the travel, which was a lot of fun when I was single, and going to all these places to see games and to cover games, was no longer as appealing. And the chance to help people with their writing by working in-house had some appeal. And I'd had a lot of layout background as well, because I designed dozens of publications every year for Appalachian State. And so the layout and copy editing also came kind of natural, and I really liked just the language. And so I enjoyed working with other writers and cleaning up copy and just being more of a behind-the-scenes nuts and bolts person.
So you like language a lot, or grammar, or just clean writing, or?
Yes, I mean I like all of it. I like seeing writers develop their own styles, and I think that as copy editors we never want to, change the color of a writer's writing. But as far as it being clean grammatically, sure. I think that's really critical. We're all words people, and we enjoy doing that.
I know just from the little bit of time I worked on sports, Fridays at like midnight can get really crazy when basketball, all the prep stuff. Did you tell me what some of the, I don't know if it's like that anymore on a Friday night, but what's been kind of the scene, and when might you get home, and how crazy could it get on certain nights? And I don't know if it's like that so much now, but maybe 10, 15 years ago when you had DeLong and Metzer and all that.
When we had a lot more writers out there in the field, actually it was a lot more, it was just more frantic. It was busier, but we had more people also. We were covering more, but there were also more bodies to help inside. But yes, sports always, even on the calmest of nights, sports is pretty much always the last section to close out the night. There's always an NBA or an NFL game or a college game of some sort that's the last thing to come in. And then, of course, as you mentioned, those prep Friday nights, and then on Tuesday nights as well during basketball. Just the sheer volume of when you're in a county that's got 15, 20, 30 schools, or in a several county area, and you may be trying to keep up with 30, 40 schools a lot because of the conference affiliations. There's just a lot that there's a lot of scope that you cover. So yeah, it's frantic. It's also kind of fun, in a crazy way, because when you close it up at night, you've just ended a chapter that you worked really hard at for a while, and then it's over, and you've got the next day to start over.
Did you find yourself in the course of seasons learning whether Randy Johnson from South Stoke spelled his name with a R or an R, a Y or an I, or did you start to learn spellings and stuff of certain star players?
You really do, and it becomes natural after just a short period of time, because as you said, you used the word star. The players who kind of are the leading scorers and grab the headlines mostly, it becomes second nature. That is, when that comes across the desk, it's like, I've seen that one. I know how that one's different. You know, Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR driver, Jimmie, and I don't know of any sports copy editor who didn't, within maybe a day or two, learn to spell Krzyzewski because it was out there all the time. And so yes, the odd spellings and the names that come across most commonly, most often, you do learn those just by second nature, and just kind of the weird, you know, Dwayne Wade, NBA player, is D-W-Y-A-N-E, Dwayne, but it's Dwayne, and you just, your eye catches those things because they may be odd to the general public, and it may be not the way a name is pronounced, but there is a correct spelling, and it needs to be right.
How late would you usually get off of work when you work nights?
Well, I still work 2 or 3 nights a week, and I kind of work a mixture of nights and days, but back in the day, as I say, our deadlines used to actually be later than they are now. We had 3 editions at the Journal, and the last edition we put to bed usually about 1:30, so I was usually about 2:30 getting home. Now the last edition goes to press, all the pages have to be set by 12:30 every night. So we're out of here just a little bit earlier. Part of that is that the speed of the equipment that we use, the software programs that we use, have enabled us to get more in faster, and partially it is a cutback in people and coverages. Some of the things that we're covering, we're cutting off those deadlines a little earlier because we don't cover quite as much as we used to.
What would you say that the camaraderie is like on the copy desk? I asked Karen this because it's always been my observation that, you know, you guys work, especially the crew that works at night, and you're often the only ones here, and there seems to always be a pretty good bond on the copy desk. What would you say about that kind of bond and some of the your co-workers, I guess?
It really is a team effort. I mean, it sounds really trite, but and that's not my sports writing and sports coverage background showing up. It sounds trite, but the people here are professionals, and we have become a real team, with the exception of just a couple of people who've been here like 7, 8 years. Everybody else is 15 to 35 or 36 or something. I mean, it really is a tremendous amount of experience in the room and on the copy desk. And yes, during the night, we are frequently, or pretty much always, with the exception of a night editor and maybe one beat reporter, will be the last people in the building. And so we have meals together. We don't squabble. We squabble professionally over sometimes the wording of something, and we play off of each other's knowledge. But in reality, they're just, considering the number of people and personalities, there's never been any big fights. I've been here, as I say, for almost 23 years all total. And I can honestly say there've been none. And any of the little quibbles are over, well, do you think this should be said this way, or that we should check on this a little bit farther, or whatever. Those kinds of things. It's professional stuff. It's never personal. And in spite of all the personality differences and background differences, we really get along well, and we have the same product that we're responsible for putting out in the final analysis. So it's the one product that is the goal every night, and that never wavers.
What have you thought at all about what it's going to be like to leave that last time, or is it a sentimental side, or is it just you're ready just kind of to move on and be in the new chapter? Or?
Oh, that's tough. No, I'm really not ready to move on in lots of ways. I do not have a plan at the moment. I have been investigating some things, and I've applied for just 4 or 5 jobs, but because in order to achieve the severance money that we'll get at the end of our tenure, I've kind of hung on, and so you can only be so aggressive looking for a job, and yet on the other hand, if you get something, you've got to take it pretty much and walk away from the severance. So I haven't done a whole lot toward that end. It will be very odd very odd closing the door on that, turning off the lights on that last night. I mean, it's not something that you walk away from easily after so many years. I think we all dread it in our own ways. I mean, you have to have some excitement about a new start. You get these chances in life, sometimes of your own makings, sometimes not of your own makings. And we've all said at different times, boy, you know, if I'd had a good kick in the butt at some point, you know, maybe I would be doing such and such or such and such. Well, now that time is here, and for the people who still need to work and want to work, or healthy enough to work, and it's not retirement time, we're facing some stiff challenges to find something. Getting something in print, you know, maintaining the kind of job responsibilities that we've had will be tough, I think, because so much of our information has gone digital, and the opportunities are just fewer in print, I think, and that's what we're all finding out.
Great. I think that's it. Thanks so
Okay.
much. Hope
Thank
that
you.
wasn't too painful.
No, that was good. Thank you.
Sure.